One bad clone can kill your entire garden. I'm going to tell you why and how to avoid it. So there's two main ways of growing your plants. You can either start it as a seed or you can get clones. Now, a lot of people like clones because they're proven. You already know what it's going to offer. And a lot of times people are searching after these grail strains, you know, the Chem 91s, the OG Kushes, things that are only coming in clone form. But getting a cut from your trusted friend isn't always as safe or worry-free as you might think. Now, a lot of people that have been growing for years, we're familiar with the concept of quarantining your clones. But in reality, even the most experienced growers, not everybody is as vigilant as they should be about quarantining their clones. An effective quarantine is the #1 way you can save your garden when you're taking in clones. Let me explain why. One of the most common phrases from people when taking in clones is, "Hey man, don't worry, my clones are clean. There's no bugs, there's no powdery mildew, there's no HLVD. They're good to go. Get them, plug them into your garden, man. It'll be groovy." The sad reality is not everybody's plants are clean, and some people, they don't even know they have problems when they're handing you a cut. So let's take a look at a few of the hitchhikers that may come in with your friend's trusted clone. All right, here we got a little bit of an aphid action going on. And over here, see that little bugger? That's a thrip. And heaven forbid you get these guys, the two-spotted spider mite. What's even worse though, and very hard to detect with the naked eye, russet mites. And man, you gotta go nuclear to get rid of those things. And that's where the concept of quarantining your plants comes into play. Again, if you get a clone and it's got all these hitchhikers on it and you just plug it into your garden, well, there's a whole lot more for those little buggers to eat and to get on and to infect and cause problems with. So you don't want to take a clone immediately and plug it into your garden, because you never know what's on it. So after years and years and years, over a decade of never taking a clone from outside sources, I actually accepted one, guys, and I'm stoked. This is something that I've been wanting for a long time. But I'm also smart enough to quarantine my plants, even though it's from a trusted source. So let me show you what I did for my quarantine. All right, so what I've done is I've actually repurposed a Spider Farmer, kind of like a DWC root starter. I repurposed that for my quarantine. It's perfect for it, actually. I mean, it comes with a little light, and guys, clones don't need much light. You could get away with almost just a light bulb if you have to set your quarantine up in a freaking cardboard box with a little fan and a light bulb. CFL, you'll be fine. Guys, they don't need much, but this is actually purposely built for plants, so I am using it. Now, you might also notice that I've got some yellow sticky cards in there. Guys, yellow sticky cards need to come out right away, because if you look at the leaves on this clone, and again, this thing is doing great. It's about 4 or 5 days after being shipped to me. It's already recovering. It's looking healthy, but I go in and I look at the leaves and there's no obvious signs of insect damage. You know, there's no shiny spots, there's no stippling, there's no missing pieces. So at face value, this clone is looking pretty good. But guys, these yellow sticky cards, they're gonna catch things our eyes don't always see. So immediately I put a yellow card on it, but I've also gone deeper and put them in the bottom just in case anything is crawling around or crawling out from the soil. So yellow cards are important for your quarantine, because if things are jumping off of your plant, that's going to help you know they're there. So yeah, guys, not super elaborate, not super crazy, actually very easy to put up. And this, you know, this is sitting way away from my main garden, because if there was something on these, I don't want it to hop and eat the rest of my stuff. But yeah, this repurposed Spider Farmer unit is freaking awesome for my clone quarantine area. And because, again, you can't always see everything with your naked eye, and it's been about 4 or 5 days, Let's take this yellow sticky card and put it under the microscope. Real quick though, guys, I just wanted to add that this little $40 purchase is one of the best things you can do for scouting your plants. All of those videos earlier of the insects came from this thing. So this is what we're going to use to look at our yellow cards. Okay guys, so here we go. I've got the yellow card that was sticking up out of the clone container. I'm going to put this in here, and again, it's sticky, guys, so kind of challenge to move around. Let me focus this. See how much clarity we could get. You can see that brown thing popping up in the corner, right? Okay, let's get close enough. We can see that's just kind of soil. So let's move this around here on the screen. Again, it's sticky, so it's a little challenging, but I'm just trying to move it. That looks like soil to me. I'm just looking for things on the card. Oh, what's this down here? Focus a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that's just a piece of organic matter. That's not anything that was alive or creepy and crawling. So let's move on here towards the center. Again, you're just seeing little pieces of fiber from the soil. Let me lift this up so I can move this around. Let's see what those brown spots are here. Let's close in on that. No legs, no face, no nose. Guys, this again is just more organic matter from the soil cup, most likely. Let me raise that up. Oh, it's getting sticky now. Okay, so let's get kind of a good quick scan here of the card, some of the things that are on it. Again, everything that I'm seeing is just organic matter. Nothing with legs, nothing that was alive. Really just seeing some of that soil and other particles in the slides. And just to give you guys an example of the magnification power, this is one of those little flies that we saw on the yellow card on the bottom. So it's a pretty powerful tool. Again, it lets you really get in there. Gosh, almost 3D. You can see the wings folded. You see his legs. Again, I didn't see any legs. I didn't see antenna. I didn't see wings. I didn't see bodies. I didn't see any of that on the other yellow sticky cards. But this is what it looks like when you actually trap something. Oh, yeah. I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes just going through the different sticky cards. And this is one from the bottom, and I saw this little red thing, and that tipped me off, guys. That looks like something to me, but I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. But I'm going to keep scouting and see if I see anything else that resembles this. All right, guys, I found another little red one on that same card. That definitely looks like a pest, guys. It's got legs, it's got a mouth. I need to do some research. All right, guys, so I'm doing my research, and right now red spotter mite or clover mite kind of takes the lead, but I wanted to show you guys something very important. We can see here the size of the insect, right? See where that little red dot right above my finger right now? That's one of the mites. Little red dot right above the wing, that's one of the mites. And can we see the other one on here? Nope, it won't even pick it up and focus. But again, right there is one of those little red dots. Compared to the size of the fly, guys, that is the size of insect we are talking about here. So these yellow cards, very handy. They may have just saved my garden. And after scouting the yellow cards, I made sure to replace them with new yellow cards up on that big clone. So after spending a whole lot of time just scouring those yellow cards, I only came up with those 3 examples of whatever that is on there. So that's not a lot. That's not very large pest pressure, but it is still there. Now, another trick that people do to kind of protect themselves and as part of their quarantine is they will dunk the plants. They will dunk the clones. That one is a little too large for a dunk. That's actually a foliar spray, which may not be as effective. Again, a dunk fully submerses it. So what I'm going to do, again, I want to take my clones off of the clone that I was sent, but those, before I put them into my rooting medium, those are going to get a dunk. So anything that still may be on there, you're getting the good old pesticide dunk. Good luck. For my dunk, I'm going to be using EpiShield, and again, you dilute it, pour it into a cup, fully submerge your cutting, and then you can go and place it in your rooting medium. But I also want to mention too, make sure that the pesticide or whatever you're using to control these insects are actually effective for that particular insect. Not every pesticide is a great target for every insect that's out there. So look for something specifically that deals with the issue you have. Another thing you need to be careful of when you're taking in clones is the media that you receive it in. A lot of times it will be a plug or a Rockwell cube. Sometimes you get it in soil or cocoa. Now, even if you've quarantined and the plant is looking clean for the first few days, for a week, you're not seeing any signs on the leaves or on your yellow cards, sometimes these things, they're in the soil. They were eggs, they were larvae, and they didn't hatch right away. So you need to quarantine for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks. But guys, the medium that it comes in can also be a vector for pests and pathogens. So what I like to do, and what I'll be doing with this, and what I always recommend to people, especially when it comes in like a soil or a cocoa or anything like that, is as you quarantine and you're growing out that initial clone, all of those little side branches, those are new potential clones. So what I like to do is that original clone, let it grow in your quarantine. Take clones off of that and then put it into your, whatever media you use to clone with. And we'll get to that in a second because, arrow cloners, they can steer you wrong. But yeah, what I like to do is grow it out enough to get my own clones, and then from there, those are what go into the garden after they've been cloned, which is, again, an extended quarantine period. And this original one with the media and the soil that it came in, just getting rid of that. I don't want any potential for that contaminating my garden. Even if it's clean, they'll always tell you it's clean. Now let's talk about the silent killer that can come in with any clone. And actually, this is a big problem in the cannabis industry. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about HLVD, the hop latent viroid. HLVD is responsible for a lot of dudding in crops. Now, it's latent, so it may not show itself right away. It may never show itself, or it could screw up your garden immediately, right? That's the crazy thing about this. And that's why it's hard to detect, because visually, there's not very good signs that, oh, this clone has HLVD, I should throw it away. This is something that you have to do testing for. And, well, it's not that cheap, but it's cheap enough if you're worried about the safety of your garden and your next harvest. Now, I mentioned the arrow cloners and HLVD. One of the main ways that it spreads is through water, right? So if you've got, all of your good normal fire cuts in the arrow cloner, and then you plug in one of this new clones, and this has the HLVD, and all that water is coming up and splashing them all, well, this plant just infected everything that you have. That can be a disaster. So if you do use a cloner machine, make sure you have an extra one, or your regular cuts aren't in it at the same time. You want to clean it out with bleach after the fact, 20% dilution, because it needs some strong stuff. So HLVD and water spread, it's a dangerous thing. Even if you're using plugs, but they're all in the same tray and it floods into the bottom and then it wicks back up, that can be an issue. So again, guys, quarantine when you take in new cuts. So I hope this starts a deeper conversation and reminds people that yes, even though it may be a little pain in the butt, quarantine is important when you're taking in new clones. If you're serious about your garden, if you're serious about your keepers and the cuts you have, do the right thing, guys. Quarantine your clones. But if you want to pop seeds, chadwestport.com is the place to pick up my gear. You can also check out my Patreon at Chad Westport. But guys, keep it locked here on the Chad Westport YouTube channel. Put your comments and questions down in the section below. And remember everybody, to party on.